everybody, and welcome to Rockin Around with you. We have a special guest today for you. His name is PC Muñoz, and he has a new project called Little Ransoms. We're going to talk about that and a bunch of other stuff. But PC, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me
again. We love having you here again.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to give you a take on what I felt when I listened to Little Ransoms. It's kind of read like a review, so bear with me a little bit.
Okay.
So to start off, I love how the lyrical dark goes hand in hand with the lyrical light.
I appreciate that.
Neither the dark or the light fight for the spotlight. And so when I was listening to it, and this was actually yesterday, it was like a second or third play. I'm like, let me listen to Little. And it came up like in a random order, right? I had heard it from beginning to end the way that you intended, and this time I'm like, I'm gonna just put it on shuffle, see what happens.
Yeah.
So as I'm listening to it, I felt like the heartbreak of the deceased in question, which is a super heavy song.
Very heavy, yeah.
Melts into the sadness of Lutu, supported by the melancholy of Scott Oshiro's flute. Unbelievable work. And then that fell into naturally of a moment of self-reflection of samsara. And I was completely blown away by what not only did you achieve and what you intended, but to achieve something so deep when it's random in a sense, but not because I totally believe that the universe said, hey, you're going to listen to these songs
in this sequence,
like this. So thank you for that. And you're a really deep dude. And I wanted to ask you if it's okay for people to listen to your music, maybe not everything, but Little Ransoms in this case, because it's such a brief project and a brief creation, that if it's okay if it's out of order, and did you intentionally place these songs in a specific order?
Yeah, so I definitely spend a lot of time like getting a sequence down. So I think it's one of my strengths as a producer. I'm really into getting a good sequence. However, I am a realistic dude, so I know that people make their own, because I do it. Everyone shuffles, makes their own playlist, puts things in sequence that they like. So I'm fully expecting that. Or sometimes, people just have a track or two that they really like, and they just have that on repeat, and then whatever comes on after that, or they just have the artist on shuffle, so they might hear something from Little Ransoms and then hear some other song of mine, which is totally different. So I'm aware of that, but I do make a sequence that's very intentional and I feel like works thematically and musically, but I don't mind at all when people, because I'm fully expecting people to do that.
Yeah, and it's just it hit me. I was like, this is unbelievable. This is so. I had to stop. I was typing, and I had to stop. And again, since I mentioned earlier, is that since these pieces are so small, once they were done, I had to go back and listen to them again.
Yeah.
Because although, you listen to a song that maybe is an average 3.5 minute song or 2.5 minute song, and then you go back, it's like, oh, I missed something.
Yeah.
And these little brief, nuggets, there's so much in there. And I appreciate that so very much. So thank you for that.
I appreciate the close listen.
Yeah. And then I ran into Parallel, and Gio is cheating on Vanessa, which was my take a breath moment where like, okay, let me just pause this here. And it was a little fun piece. Tell me a little about Gio's cheating.
Yeah, it's good. I appreciate you bringing that one up, because not many people have brought that piece up. I'm not sure if they're avoiding the topic or they don't want to hear it. But it's supposed to be kind of funny, and you're right. It's meant as like a little levity in the brevity, a little levity after there's a lot of like heavy stuff in there. Right? And like you said, the album itself is brief. It's a compact listen, and I wanted to make sure that in there, after you hear some deep stuff or after you hear some very thought-provoking things, that there's a little bit of levity in there. So that's what Gio does. Gio's cheating on Vanessa, and it's really just a little snapshot of a relationship and someone observing and making a comment about it. That's may or may not fair. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's totally unfair. It's funny. There was somebody who did a video with it on TikTok.
Oh, really? Wow.
Who said Vanessa is getting her glow up and will be back. Like, sort of like a rebuttal to
To-
Geo.
to
You
Geo.
know, yeah. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting. I wonder if you should revisit that and have her point of view.
Right,
And
yeah.
then
Like
the next
what's
generation.
Vanessa's feeling? Yeah.
That would be amazing. And then Countryside with Vicki Randall.
Yeah,
And,
incredible
and
Vicki
you've
Randall. Yeah.
seen, oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And I take it, not that it's been influenced by, but you've seen the movie Sinners, and that's
Yeah.
exactly where it took me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a roots feel for that thing. Like I actually wrote that as a very rootsy song, and it had kind of like a Johnny Cash beat. I recorded the drums for it. A guy named Adam Goodhughes, really great drummer. Yeah, he put a track down. I started doing some things with it. I kind of shelved it, and then Vicky and I did a spoken voice and sung voice piece for Robert Moses Kin, the great choreographer and dance company here in San Francisco at the Presidio Theater, with our friend Shelley Doty. And there's a piece that I was speaking, Vicky was singing, and it sounded really good. And Shelley had said, "Wow, you guys sound really great together." So when I was putting this record together, I was like, "Oh, maybe I could try something where it's just voices," because that's the whole album is. It's really spoken voice and one other element for most of the tracks.
Right.
So I was like, okay, we can try that, a spoken voice and sung voice, and had Vicky come in, and she improvised to the text. I kind of told her, this started as this very rootsy thing,
Yeah.
and but we won't have instruments. It'll just be me speaking and speaking very rhythmically, and her singing in response. And so I appreciate that you heard that you heard
Yes.
like the roots music kind of foundation of it, even though there's no instruments. You
Yes.
you got the energy of it.